Hello, friend and colleague. It is Nikki from Full Voice Music. On our show this week, episode 195, my special guest is our social media expert, Karen Michaels. She's getting us up to date on important things and best practices when using social media to market our studios. Best practices and new opportunities right here on the Full Voice Podcast. Hello. Thank you and welcome to our show. I have a fabulous episode with our dear friend Karen, who is going to get us up to date. Oh my goodness, I always learn a million things when I have Karen on the show. And of course, most of us, if not all of us, are using some form of social media to celebrate our students and to promote our businesses. And you are in the right place. Karen's going to share some great stuff. But first, I need to check in with my friends from around the world, wherever you are, whether you are walking your dog on a beach, whether you are exercising on the treadmill first thing in the morning before your children get up, whether you are commuting somewhere and you've popped this podcast on in your car or on your mode of transportation. I am sending you a big hug from Hempford Forest, Nova Scotia, and to all my friends and colleagues around the world. Oh my goodness, I hope you're doing well. I hope you are inspired. I hope you're feeling really good about what's happening in your studio these days. I have a few announcements and some really important things that are coming up. First and foremost, I would like to remind everybody that the deadline for registering for the National Association of Teachers of Singing big convention in Knoxville is this weekend. I think it's Monday. Yes, I'm sure it's Monday. I'm looking at the page right now. Yes, if you've been thinking about going to the convention, please, time's running out. Take advantage of the registration savings. And for those of you who are new to conventions, oh my goodness, you are going to have a fabulous time. The National Convention features experts from around the world with every topic being covered in the 5 or 6 days. And there's just so many opportunities for learning. I'm sad to say Full Voice will not be at the convention this year. I have the worst case of FOMO. And I am sad about that, but I just wanted to let everybody know. My mom is just finishing up some of her cancer treatment this summer, and I need to be home with her and my family. So I am sending hugs to everybody who's going to be at the convention, and I encourage everyone who is thinking about going to please go. It really is phenomenal. Connecting with colleagues face to face, there's nothing more inspiring. I am going to put in the link, in the show notes, the links to the National Association of Teachers of Singing website and the registration so that you can check that out. So, National Convention, deadline coming up. I also want to tell everybody about some exciting things that are happening at Full Voice Music. So first of all, in addition to this podcast, we now have what we call live office hours. Once a month, we open up our Zoom room. It's a free meeting and we dive into a singing related topic. Our last topic that we did this month in May was all about jazz singing and helping students learn the genre and dive into jazz. Now, what's really interesting is a lot of middle school and high school students are getting exposed to jazz in school, and they might need your help to develop their singing, their jazz vocals. So we had a really fabulous live office hours, which is going to be on our YouTube channel. So you can check that out. And I want to shout out to my colleague, Mim Adams. She took the reins and she did an amazing presentation in the live office hours. We answered as many questions as we could, and wow, did she ever do an amazing job. Now, of course, a 60-minute live presentation is not going to fill in all of the blanks. So we are super excited. This summer, we're going to be hosting some workshops, teacher workshops. If you're new to jazz or you're looking for resources to help your students really learn the nuances and the style of jazz, we want you to join us this summer. On July 15th and July 22nd, we have two different workshops. One is just about diving into jazz technique and some of the resources and tools that you might need. And then the second one is an introductory to improvisation. Improvisation can be so intimidating when you're first getting started, especially if you're listening to the greats. If you're listening to Mel Torme or Ella Fitzgerald do a little scat solo there, where do you start? Well, we have been developing these resources, and we're excited to share them with teachers. So please visit our website, fullvoicemusic.com. Check out the teacher training tab with all of our offerings. We have online courses and our upcoming live workshops. Now, if you are a podcast listener, well, of course you are because you're listening right now, huh? I have a little thank you gift for you. You can use the coupon code Jazzy25. Jazzy25 will get you $25 off of the workshops. So if you're thinking of diving into some jazz singing this summer, we would love to welcome you into our Zoom room for a fun workshop. Jazzy25 is the coupon code that's going to save you some money. So please be sure to use that. Okay, have I done everything? I think so. I think we're all up to date now. All right, my friends, thank you for your patience. And without further delay, the delightful and passionate Karen Michaels. Welcome back to the Full Voice Podcast, my friend from the other side of the continent. Good morning, Karen Michaels, our social media expert. It's been so long. How are you?
Oh my gosh, good morning from not even across the pond, across the continent is good. Yeah. I'm great. It's great out here in Vegas. There is so much for us to talk about and catch up on. And you've been doing great things, all those new products you have and the new books
busy.
you have, they're just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Are beautiful.
Yeah, the team here at Full Voice has been going as fast as we can and doing as many things. And we have like such a long list of things we want to put out. Sometimes I get anxiety because I'm like, it's not coming fast enough. But I have to tell you, Karen, I follow you, obviously. You're part of our team. Yeah. And you've been posting some really interesting things. And you were talking about, we're going to talk about a lot of things today, but we're talking about the new paid social media things that are going on. Cause I think there's a lot of questions about that. We're going to talk about Substack.
Sure. Yes.
And maybe a little bit of AI, but let's look at this let's take it from like the top of the year. So 2024, what are some of the big trends that kind of came in the new year?
You know, it's funny because I knew it was going to happen. Well, as I said in that one post when you and I chatted, you know, I said that paid socials were coming and that if we all were going to enjoy the way it was, which is just advertising and talking about yourself essentially for free, right? And I knew it was coming, and I'm in several groups that we weren't allowed to even breathe or mention about it, but I had a feeling that paid socials were coming. I thought it was going to be a fall release, but here we are in the spring. And in 2024, I wanted everyone to just focus on creating a schedule for themselves that is livable and real. I reiterated the once a week thing, which I talked about 5 years ago, I think it is, as well, that if you were just consistently posting, that still works in this day and age, but that the key to all of this now really is one of my mantras, which is you don't need ads, you need systems. Because if you have less than 5,000 followers, you can just be employing SMO, which is social media optimization,
Mm-hmm.
which is like SEO for socials. That's the easiest way to think about that. And if you're employing those kinds of tactics, what time are you posting? Are you using alt text? Is there a face occasionally on your Instagram or Facebook, that a face that we recognize and know and love? Then you're doing well. You're doing fine. But now, um, the game is definitely changing. And I do want to clarify that it isn't necessarily pay to play, although I admit that I'm framing it a little bit that way. I have paid for verification across the board with my personal account, which is now turned into the digital creator account on Facebook. And then on Instagram, I have verified accounts. And that just means that I've gone through their verification process, which I think is really important because it proves that I am who I am
Right.
to the viewer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not only that, you get instant support. The other day, I didn't understand. I wanted to talk to somebody at Facebook or Meta, really, about the paid levels. And so I messaged them and they said, hi, Karen, can we call you?
Oh,
And I was
you actually talked to a human?
to a human.
Not a robot human, but a human human.
Nope, a human
Wow.
human. And she was gracious and wonderful, and it was so interesting. And I was asking her about the paid levels and if it's something I should recommend to clients and why would I
Mm.
recommend it. Does it guarantee this or that? And so it was a fascinating conversation. She was super gracious. And I have a link that I can share with everyone, that so that you can check your availability, because of course, it's funny. People forget that this is a business and that they don't own. Facebook isn't yours, friends. I know it feels like it's yours.
Yeah.
I know that profile where you post your kid and your mom and your dinners and your flowers and your song. I know it feels like it's your space. It's your piece of the digital world. And it is, but you don't own it.
Right. Right.
It's not yours.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to, they're going to roll out these paid levels in a slow and succinct way so that it doesn't crash the system. That's why they do that.
Right.
It's just
Okay.
good business.
For people that are like that have been notified that they have
Mm,
access to the verified thing. So is it could you give people just a general idea of the
yeah.
cost of what like a verified IG account or a verified Facebook account would cost? Is it a subscription or is it a
Yeah.
one-time fee?
Oh, don't we wish it was one time. Subscriptions are here to rule the world. Um, Oy, right. So the basic verification, which is what I have right now, is 15 or $16 per month. That's American
Mm,
USD. So those are that gives you support. It gives you that background check so that people know that you have been verified with ID. I had to show my driver's license, passport.
mhm,
I had to answer the phone and speak with them, and
mm.
all this kind of stuff. I had submitted also like my TSA pre-check, so I've done other background checks before. So
Right, right.
yeah, so you do all that. So that's around 15 or $16 per month. Now with these new levels, to be honest, friends, they're really for the digital content creator,
Mm,
and they are for businesses.
okay.
So but that being said, if you're a personal brand,
Mm,
like who would like a Shalene Johnson, who I think I've mentioned on here. I just like her. She's a fitness person, a lifestyle person. Even though she's a personal brand, she has a verified account. So she's a digital creator. And then of course, businesses definitely, Full Voice is a business. The Social Butterfly Group is a business. So then what is going to happen is there's going to be these three top tier levels, and they're not inexpensive. It is looking like the opening, they're going to give a break if you jump on early as soon as you're offered. And it looks like it's going to be about $45 a month, $150 a month, and $350 per month, all
So
USD.
what are the different like what are the benefits from having those high-end accounts?
So those are amazing. So the higher the level, of course, that's a team thing, right? So
Right.
now 2 to 4, depending on which one you pick, 2 to 4 of your team members will get the benefits, which is you get profile protection.
Mm.
So I know that's huge. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
for me, that's the biggest thing, the profile protection. So nobody can impersonate your account
Mm.
um, at all. They handle that. They literally handle that. You don't even have to, you might have to do one initial, hey, this is happening, and then they'll take care of it. But so that's a major benefit. Obviously, the whole background check. Um, that I put in my last newsletter, which I just highly recommend everyone read because I don't send out too many, maybe about once a month that you saw. Yeah.
Karen's newsletters are fabulous. I always
Mm.
get a great tip and I always run to my socials and go, "I'm gonna do this." So, no, I'm gonna put a link on
Oh,
the show
good.
notes. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the biggest thing is that so those kinds of verifications, those kinds of protections, you will get 24/7 support.
Okay.
So it won't be right now. I mean, that the story that I told you about, I called them, she called me back, I spoke to a person. That did happen in real time. It happened over the course of about an hour and 15 minutes. It was very
Wow.
fast. I
Yeah.
know, it was really fast. Um, I don't know if I just got lucky, or I'm an early adopter of these things, as you know. As
Mhm.
soon as I could pay for everything, I did it. Um, but the biggest thing is that it'll be 24/7 support.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. And there are a lot of other benefits that I highly recommend everybody read. I'm happy to go through with anyone and say whether something is worth it or not for you. Like I said, I personally, the 150 and 350, those are for like, Estee Lauder or brand, even maybe
Big,
that's a real,
massive
it
brands. Yeah.
is. It is. I mean, maybe there'll be people who aren't as big as a major company like that, the guitar, any of these big guitar, like Guitar Center, or
Right. Sure.
maybe, those kinds of things. Um, because it gives multiple team members that coverage. But I'm definitely, as soon as I can, I'm doing the $45 level, and I will report on what happens with that. Um, because I think the most important thing is that it it it's a business expense. For me, and I know that everyone is different. For me, I don't have a brick and mortar. The socials are essentially my brick and mortar. And if that is a level of insurance, and also it's insurance, it's ensuring that my landlord takes care of business because I'm paying rent.
Right. Right.
I'm
Sure.
paying
Sure.
rent for the space. That's how I view this. I literally have I on my line items, I call it social rent because I want to,
Social rent. I like that.
yeah, like I can't fix some of these things, like when someone impersonates, or when someone does certain things on a post, that you have to go through. Oh, I had one of my poor clients, I was constantly hiding, gross comments, and I mean, these things happen, right? And by the way, the trick around that is if you see a specific country has targeted you for some reason because they're trying to get comments out, because the people get paid by doing that, by the way. That's why they're doing it. You can block that entire country.
Okay, fun fact. Our website, we've had to block specific countries because of hacking.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And so you can do the same thing on your business Facebook page and Instagram.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I think, I think, I think the reality is that we've been using social media
Yes.
to build our businesses and it was nice and
Forever.
free. Yeah. I mean, here's the truth. Full
Yeah.
Voice would I mean, when we first started and we were in Canada, I mean, my distributor sat me down and said, the chances of you making your books making it into the US is really slim because you have to be part of these associations and it costs thousands of
Mm,
dollars to be part of these associations and you have to
mm.
go to all these trade shows and that's like tens of thousands of dollars. And, like, we were like, "Well, we'll just do what we can in Canada." And then social media happened, and it literally was the conversations on Facebook groups that brought people to our website, and that is how we have reached a wider audience. So it was nice, and in the beginning, like, back when Facebook ads were really good, like, you could totally get your people, 'cause it is
Yes,
different now, right? Like,
it
ba
is.
I we used to
100%.
run, like, a $5 a day ad, and, like, 100 people would hit our website from
Yep,
Facebook.
yep.
That we don't have that type of ROI anymore when we
Right.
run
No
ads,
one
but
does. It's not just you.
exactly, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, it makes sense that if you want to continue to use it and really those costs are minimal. If you think about back when how much did a newspaper ad
Come
cost?
on.
Right?
The Look at, as I always bring up, I mean, on TV, those are millions of dollars.
Yeah.
None of us are no, it's not happening. None of us are doing that. And yes, for sure, to get in a regular, even a small level magazine, like let's say Pianist magazine or something like that. Where I used to look at those and think, I wonder if I should talk about this, this piano version thing that I'm doing that I teach with chords and you don't have to read as many notes and here's what you can do, blah blah. And I used to think about that and it was like for the teeniest tiniest ad, it was like
Yeah.
$1,500.
Oh, for sure. And and you had no idea who was seeing it or what
Nope.
kind of response. You got no feedback. So it was literally you were putting your money out in the wind and hopefully somebody read your ad. I
Exactly,
find that
exactly.
interesting. Now, let's talk about Substack. So that Substack is kind of blown up and I have a lot of friends and I subscribe to a couple of Substacks. So can we just first of all, what is Substack? Let's start
Substack.
there.
It's so amazing. Okay, so first of all, I feel like this is the perfect segue to say, for the love of all that is good, please get the emails of the people who follow you. If you
Mm.
have to do a song and dance, if you have to give away something, if you have to give them a month free of your whatever cool thing that you do or sell or create,
Mhm.
then do that.
Yeah.
It is more than worth it in terms of the long-term ROI because as we've said 50 times already that we don't own these platforms.
Mhm.
And if your platform gets shut down and you have 3,000, 5,000,
Yep.
1,000, right?
Absolutely.
1,000 true fans, that's really all you need. But you have that, they're gone.
Yeah.
They are gone. So, what Substack is it is a newsletter. It's a newsletter app, if you will. And so you can be a reader and or you can be a writer. And yes, it's just like all the ones that you've heard of. There's Beehive is another fantastic one. And then there's all what I call the usual suspects, Active Campaign and ConvertKit and all those. Now, here's the game that I love so much about what they're doing. And what they're doing is it doesn't cost anything to be on there.
On
The
Substack?
oh, correct.
Okay.
The way they make money is when you sell subscriptions. So they take so on mine, if you want to be a subscription, have a subscription with my newsletter and pay for that, they take 10%. I think it's 10%. Yeah, it's 10%. So I mean, some of the big like Ted Gioa. I don't think I'm saying his name right. He's a musician and writer over there. He writes fabulous stuff. And I mean, he probably has, I think he has 25,000, 35,000, maybe even more subscribers. And no doubt a lot of them pay.
Yeah.
No doubt. So that's how they're making money at this point. That's their
Mhm.
model, if you will. And what the incredible thing about Substack is, and the reason I'm in love with it, and so many of us are, is that the recommendation system is how I'm growing my readership.
Oh, nice.
Right. So if for example, Leah Partridge, who I have to thank her. And by the way, she bought me one of those buy me a coffee. So Leah,
Aw.
thank you. You're amazing. She writes a beautiful, newsletter about her singing life. And so she recommended, I didn't even know. She recommended my newsletter, and then I'll get these emails almost daily. So and so signed up, recommended by Leah, or so and so signed up, recommended by Christina, a girl that I'm in her Substack group, as I do, because I love joining groups and learning. And so the recommendation things, it cannot be beat, because now what's happening is a person that you already read, know, like, and trust, a KLT, which we've talked about extensively in social media. Someone that you know, Nikki, is saying, "Hey, read Karen's newsletter." And then you're more likely to sign up for that and allow that person the graciousness of coming into your inbox every day. Because remember, friends, that it's a privilege when someone signs up to your things. It is so wonderful when somebody wants to allow you the space to come into their personal space, and then you're sharing what it is you do. So by the way, make sure you're not always selling. Make sure you're also sharing and teaching.
For sure. I think the people
Yeah.
that I immediately wanna follow are the people that have shared something really useful, and I'm like, "Thank you," right? Like, that is so
Yes.
helpful, and
Yes.
and I find that that's kind of that's the hair on the camel's back for me deciding whether or not I'm gonna invest in them, right?
That's
Um
right. The time and the whatever. And what's great is so that recommendation system is literally fabulous. You have your own page. So it's like having a web page.
Mhm.
Again, this is free. It's like having your own web page, which is your homepage. And then they have just recently introduced something called notes. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, because even though I know a lot of you think Twitter, now X, is crazy and whatever, but remember curating your feeds. I don't see the crazies. I don't see the ugly whatevers. No, yeah, you have to curate. I haven't been on X in so long, because the community that I have found on Substack of writers and artists and creatives, I'm not kidding you. So Notes is like their social media on Substack. I look at it every morning and every night. It's crazy. And not only looking, I'm talking to people, Nikki, and like they're commenting back. It's amazing.
Would
It's
it be
amazing.
like, when you first jumped on Instagram and
Yeah.
it was such a friendly place, right? Like I
Yes.
much prefer Instagram to any of
Yeah.
the others. I mean,
Yep.
I participate, but the vibe and the feedback. So now you're seeing that it's a new one, like Substack's community is got a really great vibe. So that,
I have already, so yesterday I was chatting with a girl who is a writer, and in Germany, and her and I my husband walks in, he was like, "Hi, hello, good morning." And she is in Germany, and we were talking about writing, and she's a mom, and obviously I'm a mom, and I was like, this is the epitome of perfection of what social media has always been to me, and why we want to participate.
mhm.
And I just want to welcome everyone to think, like, let's go back to the roots of what social media is, which is, I wouldn't have known you. We definitely wouldn't have known Michelle and the Speakeasy Cooperative, and so many of my Nats friends. And it's amazing to me that the globalness of social media friends, especially if you are careful and smart, and and utilize all the tools, if you will. But it's incredible the communities that you can partake in, become a part of, and create. And that's the thing, like, the few people, it's what's been interesting to me is people are like, "Oh, Karen, your take on social media is so refreshing." And I was like, "Wow, I feel like I've been saying this for a long time." But it's, when you meet new people and they hear your perspective, or they learn what you're doing, or you inspire them, they inspire you. I mean, that's what community is. And that's what social media can be. And instead of this, oh my God, I got to go post and I got to do this, what's that alt text thing that Karen's always talking about? And yeah, yes, there is a little bit of that, but
Let's speak to that. I mean, you often talk about how overwhelmed people are. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
evil Nikki here.
Yes,
Overwhelm, I mean, a lot of it has to do with not having systems,
that's
with
right.
not
For
having
sure.
with not really understanding why you're doing it or what you want from it or what
Yep,
community you want to be part of. Like it
that's
really
right.
is that overwhelm is often and I it's self-inflicted and we struggle with it sometimes too. Like we were actually just starting with a virtual assistant to help us with that. So
Mm,
to free up some of our time and to set but part of the virtual assistant's job is to help us set up the system so
right.
that it's not this random, oh my gosh, I got to post something. Oh gosh, I just spent 3 hours on Canva. Oh my gosh, like where did my day go, right? Like it's just I think I think that you've been so clear in all of your things. You choose the platforms that you like, and I love that
One to
you're
three max. Yes.
right. You don't have to be on all of them.
Nope.
I we tried like TikTok. I just don't like TikTok. It's not for me. And so friends, if you're looking for full voice on TikTok, there's like 3 posts and then I'm not there. But, or like, we don't do Twitter, but we started to really spend time on the platforms that we love. We simplified our posting. We started with our systems, and then all of a sudden it's not such a big deal and we're still connecting with people. So I think even and with paid, let's go back to some of the paid stuff. One of the things
Yes.
I do is like I subscribe to a couple of Patreon
Mm,
podcasts, right?
right,
So
right.
there's some really great podcasts that I love. And it's like $7 a month. And you get all of the interview. You get bonus things from the interview. You have
Right.
access to things. Like it's that kind of thing, right? Like that's what we're starting to see.
That's what we're starting to see. And the thing is, you know, we and this is Michelle is talking in my brain right now. We talk about the scarcity mindset of charging properly as a business and then also paying others
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is, and I get it, I understand that there's a lot of negativity about Meta and about all of these kinds of things, but I just go back to number one, it's a business.
Mhm.
And so treat it as such. And and listen, there are so many resources. I mean, I'm about to do a half year thing that I feel compelled to talk about right now. I have this great social media calendar. It's extremely affordable. It literally tells you every single day of the entire year. I wrote a post idea out for every single day of the year. It's specific to musicians and voice teachers and creatives. It's meant for you. And then what kind of post you can do. So that way you could literally, for example, open my thing up and go, oh, I should post it behind the scenes today and do a reel, but I don't have to be in it. I can just post my messy desk and say admin cleanup time. And then in the second half of the caption, you can write about because I had a great week teaching a musical theater audition, and I got one of my littles to mix their voice, and and you can still talk about what you do and
Mhm.
make people think, ooh, plus when you put those kinds of keywords in the caption, yeah, now the algorithm is picking you up. And then you take 2 to 3 minutes and you go comment on someone else's post and say something nice about them. And then someone sees your thing and then they go look at your profile and then they read your stuff. I mean, literally, that's how it is. And all of what I just said could potentially take you, and I'm going to be honest and say should. I try to not say should, but it should take you 15 minutes or less, friends, because nobody's looking for a curated. Now, if we're talking about YouTube, that's a different game, but even there, it's changing. Nobody is looking for a Steven Spielberg edited, no blah blah. Nobody's looking for that
Right.
blah blah
Yeah.
BS. No one's looking for that. They want to know, Karen, how do I do this? And so, I like, what do I do? What did I do today to get ready for you? I took a shower and I put on some lipstick and I asked Chat GPT, remind me of the most important things to tell everyone. by the way, I can't wait to talk about that. Remind everyone that because I've trained it on myself. So I've trained it on my websites and all that. So it just reminds me what I want to talk about for everyone. And literally that was an hour of prep max. Now, obviously, I understand that I have expertise, but so do all of you.
Well,
All of you have all your beautiful expertise.
Yeah, I think the challenge is, again, we have a phrase at Full Voice Music is called work to publish, right?
Yes. Oh,
Like
beautiful.
like obviously we want everything to be high quality, but there's also the ROI of how much time can our team spend on a project before we are not going to make the money back on this project
That's
within a
right.
reasonable amount of time.
That's right.
So, and again, this is something that we've been working on is our systems, our SOPs, standard operating things. Everything lives in Notion where it's like a list and stuff. And shout out to my colleague and forever friend Mim Adams, because she has streamlined our
Yes.
Notion thing. Because Nikki's kind of a free spirit and likes to barf out a lot of things. And then Mim comes in and like cleans it all up, and I'm like, oh well, that's better, thank you for that. So yeah, I think it's just like starting simple, recognizing that this is a tool, you're using a tool. and
That's
and
right.
I mean, gosh, we can complain all we want, but like literally, if the social media channels disappeared, how would your business run?
Right. How
Right?
would it
Like,
run?
how would it
And
run?
so
Where would you get your new
email.
students? Right?
Right.
So,
Exactly. And friends, just remember that sometimes you might think, well, I don't get any students from there. And I'm
you
just going to
don't
welcome
know.
you don't know that.
You
And
don't know
also,
that.
it's social proof.
Yeah.
And also, the SEO of your website is so much more difficult to figure out.
Mhm.
I mean, I love all that stuff. I mean, I definitely do. And it's interesting and fun. But for me, but the point is that what I love about social media for, especially for my small business owner friends, is that you don't have to figure all that stuff out. You can do a selfie style thing with your phone, talk about the amazing idea, the amazing song you just taught someone, your idea about how to, mix or learn or play piano or whatever it is you're
Mhm.
doing. And then edit the ends in CapCut, which takes 5 seconds. It automatically does captions. I don't
Mhm.
even fix the captions anymore. It's gotten so good at that.
Mhm. True.
Throw it up on Instagram, and literally, I promise you, in the beginning, maybe it'll take you 30 minutes. By the time you're doing it on the regular
Mhm.
even once a week is okay
Yeah,
to
that's
post,
important. Mhm.
right? Post every week, but once a week is okay.
Mhm.
I'm letting you know that.
Yeah.
And and that's all you I hate to say that's all you have to do, but kinda.
Yeah. Well, and again, it comes down to systems. If you know that, Monday mornings you're going to spend a few
There you
minutes
go.
doing it, it's part of your day, just like, rehearsing, practicing the piano. You found a few minutes to do that. I never found any minutes to do that, but some people find minutes to do that. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I want to go talk about uh the the verified accounts. Let's circle back to that.
Okay.
If you are a small studio, you're running a small studio business, so you've got
Mhm.
your business account. This isn't your personal
Yes.
account.
Right.
When do you think it's appropriate for people to get verified? Is this something that everybody should just do right now? Or if you're just getting started and you're just trying to get started, should you wait a little while to do that verification?
I mean, I don't want to spend anyone's money. As I love to say, I don't want to spend your money. I want to help you make money. However, there is a level of spending that then uplifts, and we have to look at the ROI. In my humble opinion, if you have 3 followers and you have a business account and you have a studio of some sorts, you should be verified.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, even more, think of it this way. If I look at your social media and I see 3 followers and that you just it says new account or just started in, February of 2024. Well, I don't know what I don't have anything to go on by you. But if you're a verified account, I know you're taking it seriously. I'm probably going to click over to your profile and I'm going to click at the link in bio. By the way, as I'm sure many of you have seen, when you tap link in bio right now, if you don't have the verified badge, it says, we're taking you off of Instagram and onto an unknown site. Is that okay?
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So
Yeah.
that seems
Mm.
like that's going to go away if you have a verified account because they go and verify that your website has an SSL certificate,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
it right, that's the
Yeah.
that for basically that just makes sure that you're not doing anything nefarious.
Right.
And and it makes sure that you where the link says you're going is where you're going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that it coincides, the names coincide, and that sort of thing. So in my humble opinion, it's even more important for the smaller accounts to have verification.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's really helpful. Now, if somebody was getting started on Substack, what would you recommend?
Oh, I love this place so much. So you want to just get everything up there. It's gonna feel like opening a profile. You'll have a header, you'll have an about page, you'll have this, you'll have that. It will recommend like there are Substack accounts where it's actual Substack employees that you can follow, and then like that's how I first started out. I would follow them and then learn, and then those accounts recommend other accounts. And especially, gosh, for my friends that are writers, I still write on Medium. In fact, I just posted my 60th story over there, blog post, so that's amazing. And and but I do both. But if you're a writer, I just think Substack is doing amazing things over there. And it's the algorithm is very that's probably the best part of it. When you're new and you set up your account over there, they help you. They want you to succeed, and they encourage you to. They have classes that you can attend for free. I was going like every Wednesday morning. There was something where you could watch what other people are doing and realize, oh this. And anytime that I've asked for support, like, hey, what is this, or why did I do this, or why does it look like that? I got an answer back within hours, not 24 hours, but 1 or 2 hours. But you literally just follow that, and then if you already have an email list, the import is so simple. Number 1, so let's say you're on MailChimp or MailerLite or, Flowdesk or any of those. And by the way, that doesn't mean you should necessarily give those up, but I don't know why you would pay for one and then have the other, but you can export those as a CSV file or that type of file, and then you just import it into Substack, and off to the races you go. And the great thing is, it's not gonna. You will. I would say you would want to make an announcement because that's a fun email to receive, but it's going to feel the same to the reader. It's just from a different email place. And I'll tell you, the junk spam factor right now, hopefully it doesn't change. I mean, we can never guarantee those things, but is really low. Like I'm so graciously honored. I have like a 60% open rate.
Wow,
It's
that's
just
amazing.
berserk. Yeah, it's berserk. And my right before I jumped on here, my growth rate is at 32% per month.
Wow,
So
that's huge.
it's huge. It's really, really fun.
Now, with your Substack,
Mm.
is it do people have to pay to get your newsletter? So this is a
So
paid newsletter.
no. So here's what I'm doing, and it's so
Okay.
funny. I have a Substack coach, of course, because that's how I roll.
Mhm.
And we were just talking about this yesterday. I have a paid newsletter, but everybody can read it for free. So really, you're paying to support me in a way that, because I spend hours and hours, as you've
Mm.
seen
Yeah,
my
yeah, for
newsletter.
sure.
And then the what I'm doing is when I make a digital product, all my paid people get it for free.
Mm.
So that's the only paywall that I have. So for example, in the half year thing that I'm doing it for the Nats convention so that it's finished by then, so that it's like the second half of the year push for social media. And so that digital product will be free for all of the people who pay.
Nice.
Uh-huh. And so, but otherwise for me, I I really want to I just want everyone to know this stuff as much as possible. And then if you need a strategy one-on-one session, then that's when you can book me. Obviously, I always have that link. Here's where you can book me if you want help one-on-one. But otherwise, because I share all the information and the implementation is always what's the most difficult, as and so that's where I feel happy when people want to pay me to help them do that.
Well, I have to
But
shout out Karen because, like, my husband has his guitar YouTube channel and was getting started sharing his stuff. And you probably saved our marriage because I was like, he's like, well, then what do you do? And then what do you do this? And I got to do this. And I'm like, I cannot possibly walk you through this. And also, husband, wife, no husband
Yeah.
wants to like listen to their wife tell them what to do. So I was like, I said to him, I said, you book a session with Karen. And he loved it. He was so empowered and you made him feel so good and you got him started on his YouTube channel
Yay.
and he was off to the races. And
He's
I
doing
was
good.
so happy because I was like, I did not have to get involved in that at all. So thank you for that. You know what?
Always.
I just want to, my friends, I know that so many of you are like, you hold your money close, right? That is just, and I respect that. But something amazing happens when you invest in your professional development, when you work with somebody, you
Mm.
level up in ways you had no idea. And every single time I talk to Karen, I've got like so many ideas. Or anytime I book a session with Michelle, right? Like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you just it's just kind of they pick you up, they brush you off, they tell you you're doing great, they turn you in the direction that you need to be going, and they give you a solid kick in the butt, and you gotta go. And no matter how motivated you are, you don't get that without somebody else doing that for you. So I love the coaching that you're doing and all this information. And friends, I'm gonna put all of Karen's links
Yes, yes,
on
thanks.
on the show notes. Please subscribe to her Substack and get that newsletter because it is fabulous. And
Thank you.
I love that. Now, before I let you go, I
Yes.
want you to tell everybody what you did with Chat GTP about
Oh,
asking them about the interview. So just run through what
yes.
you did with the AI.
So if you didn't hear yesterday, the Chat GPT had a huge upgrade and they're actually competing with Gemini, which
Oh,
is Gemini is the Chat GPT of Google, if you
right.
don't know that. So you can check that out, google.gemini.com. And so Chat GPT just released 4.0. I'm looking at it. There's no dot 4.0. And everybody can look at it for free right now. I have the
Mm.
paid Chat GPT because it's worth it for me. I think it's only I'm sorry to say only. It's $20 a month. If you think that's worth it, then go for it. I do. And they just released this. Go look on YouTube. Everybody is calling it Her. If you've ever seen that movie, Her, you can have a conversation with Chat GPT with your face. Like
Mm.
it's the epitome of the virtual assistant. So for myself, what I did was I went to my account and I said, because I do. Good morning. Hello. I'm going to be chatting with Nikki on the full voice. And I want to make sure that I have all the important things that I talk about and remind me what I should talk about myself and what I should share with her. And it gave me, like, Karen, good morning. Be sure to share. Oh, we love when you talk on the Full Voice podcast. Is this your sixth or seventh or eighth time? Question mark. I'm like, what? So, because it does these things so fast, it scours the internet. It's mind boggling, right? And then it says, here are your top key points you can share with yourself from my point of view meaning chats. And the social media expertise, emphasizing your ideas about SMO, messy consistency. Like, that's a regular thing that I talk about. Unbelievable. Highlight your involvement with the Speakeasy Cooperative, where you help organize, promote events, and teach people about social media on there. Your Positive Vibes marketing newsletter on Substack. What is happening right now? And then this is my favorite, Karen. Your predictions since 2019 about social media platforms requiring payment, weren't you right on the money? It is hilarious. And, so it goes on and on. And the thing is, and I know I'm actually presenting on this at the Nats conference coming up with Eden Castile. And yeah. And she's performing her con artist performing.
Amazing.
Amazing. I'm so excited to go. So come sit with me, friends. It's going to be super fun. So Eden and I are going to be talking about using AI in the music studio, and Molly Mahoney's doing one of our pre-conference workshops on AI. And here's the thing. I know that it is creepy, weird, and scary. I'll use all the scary words. Yes, I get it. I super get it. But let me remind you, remember maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe longer, when I said, please, I went in soft and I was like, think about joining social media. Think about having an Instagram account. Don't be afraid. And I tiptoed in with all of you, and I'm not sorry that I did that. And I definitely am a good cheerleader and a tough love kind of coach. But friends, we don't have time to waste on that. AI is here to stay. And when you understand something, that's how you can control it. If you don't understand at least a little bit of what is happening out there and what it's doing, you will not have a voice in this conversation. And I want you to have a voice in this conversation. I want you to use it for good. Remember, all these things, everything out there can either be used for good or not good. So when all of the good people use the platforms for good, post positive things, post beautiful music, post student successes, post when you figure something out. When those things happen on social media, we make it stronger and better, and we push down the crap and we uplift the good. And that's what my opinion is about AI. Use it for inspiration. Use it as your virtual assistant. Use it to help you figure out your calendar. Use it to write your email templates. Use it to write your social media templates. If you think I'm not using it to write captions, you're wrong.
Well, and it's integrated into everything now. So really,
Everything.
I mean, I just see this as due diligence, right? If something is
Yes.
new,
Perfect.
if something's new, you have to spend time. Like you have to put in the time. Okay,
That's right.
this is what I compare it to, and this is a little bit of
Yes.
pet peeve.
Yes.
Apologies to all my listeners. When people go onto a forum and they go, my singer likes Taylor Swift. What song should I assign? That is not somebody that's doing their due diligence. Go and listen to some Taylor Swift. Like, do your work. Don't be like, oh, I mean, I suppose you could ask Chat GPT, right?
Yes.
You could
Yes.
ask Chat GPT what Taylor Swift songs your students should sing. But
Yes.
I just find a lot of the fear and worry, and a lot of that comes from not doing the bare minimum effort. So,
Exactly. And that's why I say, friends, and I'm not just saying this to say, oh, sign up with my newsletter. However, if you want information that is concise, I've done the work for you. All you have to do is read the newsletter. And by the way, as you know, Nikki, because you read it, you can reply and ask me questions.
Yep.
The
I love that.
that last one I
I
had,
like
I'll
it
be
when people
honest.
do that. I like when
Yes,
people respond.
I love it.
They just hit reply on a
Yes.
newsletter. I love when people do that. I'm like, I am happy to respond to you. If you read it and you have a question, I will get right back to you on that. I love that.
I had the most responses on that because people were afraid, they were worried, they're thinking if I don't pay right away, I'm in trouble. And that's not true, by the way. If you're like, I can't afford to do that right now, then don't. at the same time, I'm just gonna gently and lovingly ask you, what does that mean? Those are the kinds of things that you can talk about with your money coach or your business coach, but come at it from an informed perspective. And let me just say that, because I know you, friends, because I am you. Right? I'm a voice teacher. I'm a singer. I'm a pianist. I know what it's like out there to try to get those kinds of gigs, to try to fill my studio. I know what it's like. And then I love all this stuff, the tech stuff. I don't know why, but I just do. I love it. It's super fun to me to figure out. And so that's why I know even more like how to help you figure these things out. So just literally, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, just by reading my newsletter. If you implemented all the things that I put in my, if you started in January.
If you just did what I told you to do, you'd be fine. I think I have that conversation with my husband and my son every single day. If you all
that
just
was
listen
Mom.
to me, your lives would be better. Karen, I love when you come on the show, and I'm so excited. I'm going to put links to your Substack, to all your socials, so get people to follow you. And if you sign up for her newsletter, then you can just send a response, like a question.
Yes,
you can totally do that. All right. Where can everybody find and follow you on the socials?
So at Social Butterfly Group is my Instagram, and then it's substack.com/social butterfly group. And those are the two places that I'm like literally hanging out a lot. I do have, I'm on every single platform.
But those are the two places you would love to connect with people. I would
love it. Connect with me on those places. And I would love to hear from you. And if you have a question, for the love of all that is good, ask me. I want to tell you.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I can't thank you enough. We will have you back, I'm sure. And thank you so, so much for being here.
Always, my friend. It's great to be here.
A very special thank you to Karen for her wonderful information and her energy and her passion. I just love talking to her so much. If you would like to get in touch with Karen, please be sure to find and follow her. The details of her contact are on our show notes. And remember, we've got some fabulous jazz workshops coming up for voice teachers who want to learn more about the genre and how to help their students discover jazz singing and basic jazz improvisation. Please check those out. Our website is fullvoicemusic.com. And before I let you go, I have one more sweet request. If you have a student success story, whether it's about one of our resources or a song that they did, would you be so kind to go to our website and send a little message? We are collecting success stories, and instead of testimonials, we're focusing on the wins in your studio. So if you have a student that just had a beautiful aha moment with a full voice resource or a song or something that maybe you discovered on our podcast, please send me a message. Let me know. And we would really appreciate that. So, my friend, I am wishing you a fabulous, inspired day. As always, inspired teaching, and happy singing.